What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be talking about the auction house in College Football 25 Ultimate Team. Basically, my daily update and how I think the new weekly Stories of the Week players are going to affect the auction house. Now, I want to start off by saying this. I think the drop that we got today was absolutely dog water. And again, that's my personal opinion. You guys are entitled to your opinions as well. I am not a fan of the cards that came out today. I'm not. And if you want to talk about why, well, you want me to break them quickly down for you? I will. In case you don't watch my other videos, I'll break all of them down for you. So if you look at the Rising the Ranks cards that we got today, let's start with this one, okay? Christian Gray. He's fine, but he's mediocre. He's not worth picking up. He's fine, but he's not great. You want to talk about any of the other newer cards? Let's talk about him. Jackson Meeks is fine, but he's not better than some of the other wide receivers we have in the game. Again, he's fine. I don't hate the card, but he's not to that elite level. You want to talk about the defensive side of the ball? Well, let's go and talk about it. I mean, again, I'm just not that high on Christian Gray. You want to go down to the 90-91s? Not super high on a lot of these cards that came out today either. And so I feel like overall today, it was just kind of a letdown of a drop. And especially coming off what we have been seeing within the auction house, I don't think today's drop is going to affect it a whole ton. The only card I like is the center from Oregon, and the only real reason I like him is because he fits my Oregon team chemistry, which is such backwards thinking, but that's the truth. And so today is look, LTDs, Stephon Diggs, Cam Newton. These cards are out of packs. These cards are not in packs anymore. I don't necessarily want to invest in them because I've already invested a lot in them. But I'm pretty convinced a lot of these cards are going to go up in price. You want to even look at a Stephon Diggs, for example. The only way Stephon Diggs is going to get outdated, I don't even want to say outdated, but somebody's going to be equally as good as him, is if we get an LTD wide receiver. But his combination of 94 speed with 94 agility, 93 acceleration, 94 route running across the board with good spin, good jukes, he might be the best receiver in the entire game. And so that, am I telling you to invest in Stephon Diggs at 600K? No, but I'm telling you I love the card. Even a guy like Cooper DeJean. Now, I'd be a little more careful with Cooper DeJean. But here's what we have to consider. Look at the cornerback we got today and compare him to Cooper DeJean. It's not even comparable. It really isn't. If you wanted to compare, and Kaysen's even better than the corner we got today. But if you want to compare the new corner we got today, I don't even know if he's in here to Cooper DeJean or any of these cards. It's really not even close, not even comparable. Like, Christian Gray is not bad, but you can't even compare him to those level of cards. And so I honestly think today is going to be a day to still buy, because I still think the market's going to go up today. But I mean, it's not a massive crash. I will say this though. This card right here is a card I would look to buy today in Devin Neal. I think Devin Neal for 90,000 coins is an absolute big-time buy opportunity. That's one card that I really would look to pick up if I were you guys today, because I think he's still one of the best backs in the entire game. As far as Arden Walker, as far as TJ Parker, they are cards that I don't mind for their specific prices, but they're at their bottom. They cannot get any lower than the prices that they are going for right now. I don't love Jalen McLeod. He's at his bottom. And so I can't really even say like these cards are bad values, but they're at their bottom. Rutledge, I like him for his price, but he's literally can't get any cheaper. And so that's kind of the problem with these cards are, even if I like them, a lot of these cards are literally at their very, very, very bottom. So, I mean, if you want any of these cards, you can feel free to pick them up. But again, it's not like their prices have crashed since basically the Black Friday event. I mean, the market's in basically the same position. The one thing I would hold on to is, look, if you want any of these souped up cards, I would get them sooner rather than later. And I can basically vouch for the fact that I've bought all of the cards that I said I basically would. If you want to look at the middle linebacker position, I haven't gotten Stutzman yet, although I want to, but I've got Paul Posluszny because I think his price could possibly rise. I do. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think his price possibly could rise. I got Diggs. I got Cam Newton. I got Isaiah Bond. You want to continue talking? Well, I got Thornton in my squad as well. All of these cards at all of these prices, they're guys that I went and bought. And so, I mean, I don't think the market is going to go down anytime soon. And so, like, even if you see, a Cam Newton, a Kamara, like, I don't think because these cards are LTDs and they're literally souped up, I don't think it's a bad time to buy still to this day. One thing I want to at least encourage you guys to be somewhat careful of is the fact that we know Rivals is going to come on Friday. We know the Legends drop is going to be coming on Sunday. So I'd be careful buying those cards specifically. So those are not the LTDs. I'm talking about mostly the 92, 93s. If you have, let's say, a Kaysen, I'd be careful buying him. Any of these Rivals cards, I'd be careful buying them. Because again, some of their prices aren't at the bottom. Now, if their prices are at their bottom, like a Drew Evans, he cannot get any cheaper. Well, then I wouldn't worry so much about it. But let's even take a look at these wide receivers. And honestly, I love it. I like Lambert Smith more than probably the new Meeks card that came out today. But these are cards that price-wise can still go down. So if you've got Lambert Smith, if you've got Lovett, I'd be a little bit more careful when it comes down to holding on to those two cards, because I think they could drop a little come on Friday. But a guy like Lewis, his price is at its basically bottom. Bear Alexander, another card that I'd be a little careful buying right now, but that I really do like. And so the auction house is just in such a weird position right now, because a lot of the cards, I mean, we did see an auction house basically, I don't want to call it a crash, but they removed the bottoms off of a lot of cards, but they're still at their bottoms. And so I feel like the auction house can only do a certain amount of things right now. Cards are going for super cheap, so when it comes down to it, be careful. I don't want to say be careful, but be smart with it, right? Don't buy cards that are going to go down in price a ton, next week. Yeah, or tomorrow, I should say. Next week's fine, but tomorrow, like Rivals, like the Legends Sunday's drop, those are really what I would be careful of. So for me today, there's not a whole lot I'd risk say, oh yeah, look to buy them. Obviously, again, any of these stories of the week players are going to be super cheap today. Number one, because these cards were featured heavily in the Black Friday event. But number two, a lot of these things, not LTDs, but a lot of these cards probably have been pulled today as well. So a guy like Pregnon, I still like. Even some of these other cards, they're super cheap, could be worth the pickup. Don't overpay for these cards though. Like at the end of the day, these cards are not that good in the game, and definitely, I don't even know if they're worth the price that they are going for. The auction house is just in such a weird position. A lot of these cards for 19,000 coins, like a peak, like maybe even, I don't love Burke, but maybe even like a Jarquez Hunter for 30. Those are cards that I personally do like for their price. K'Mon Rucker for 30. McCoy for 30. He's a solid card. Mills for 30. Like, there are a lot of solid cards, but I can't sit up here in front of you and act like these cards are gonna go way up in price. But for their values, I mean, I don't mind them. 30,000 is super, super cheap on this game, so I really don't mind them. I've got Rutledge on my team. I've got Neal on my team. These are cards that I really do like and respect. But it's just sad because I can't really sit up here and act like, oh, this is a massive auction house crash, because it's not. But at the end of the day, like, they're still good values. Again, be careful when it comes down to buying, the Rivals, those type of cards. But it's going to take a while. And I said this during, this past weekend. It's going to take a while for the auction house, to go back up. And so, again, I'm in a buy mindset. Like, if I see a Cooper DeJean for a good price, even though I'd be careful about the cornerback position, because we know eventually the Legends lock-in is a 96 overall corner. I'd be careful with Cooper DeJean. But with Diggs, Cam Newton, I don't want to say you're safe, but I think those are much safer purchases. The problem with the quarterback position is all it takes is one really good quarterback to ruin Cam Newton's price. As far as Diggs, you're pretty safe at the wide receiver position, because it's going to take a couple of guys to really ruin Diggs' price. So that's where I'm at. Auction house, still a good buyer's opportunity. It just comes down to the fact we didn't see a massive auction house. You guys can see the stories of the week's players that are in my specific squad right now. Not a whole lot's going to change. My squad is going to be what it's going to be throughout champs at least. That's going to wrap it up for my video. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. One other thing I might think about, like Caleb Downs, I don't know exactly what his price looks like today, but I think, and I don't know for sure, because I don't think it's came through to my account yet, but I think Caleb Downs either today or tomorrow with the game of the week should go down once again in the game if he's not already at his bottom. Like, who knows with Caleb Downs? You guys can see his price is still at 95. Like, that's not super cheap, but his price probably should come down somewhat soon in the game as well. The auction house is in a really bad position right now, so be careful with it, guys. That's all I can really say on it. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.